Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another I Suck at Games. This time we'll be focusing on Starcraft 2. Starcraft 2 is an RTS game created by Blizzard. You all probably know about it, and it's pretty interesting games. The settings are what I would call amazing, and they have pretty much anything that you would need for an RTS game. Everything from hotkeys to graphics settings to particle resolutions, and anything they will ever need. They have the borderless. I love it when games have the borderless full screen option. There's so few games that actually have that nowadays. I don't know why, because it gets more and more common to have multiple monitors. So I don't know why more companies do not add that to their games, but that's just how it will be. Okay. So as you can see here, I'm pretty bad. I'm at rank 33 within the silver division. Silver being pretty damn low. That's all cool. We're gonna get Zerg versus Protoss. Zerg is my favorite race, simply because there is a lot of things that you can really bring forth whenever you are playing the game. This means that, like, for the lower leagues, there's so many like key points that you can take into your advantage. Pretty much, if you're silver, you would not even need to inject into your hatchery, which is a mechanism to get more units. You would not even need to do that to be able to win the game, right? So there are a lot of like cool little things that Sir can really do to gain an upper hand within the game. As you can see here, I already start by using my highly trained mouse clicking capabilities to spam as much so that I can get as high as possible APM stat. APM means actions per minute, and is a nice little niche that the game have there. I like it, it makes you feel good. But what actually matters is the EPM, which is effective actions per minute. Or, yeah, that's a little what it should be. And what generally that is, like, every time you move a unit, that's the effective, whilst action, that is like this, what I do, just boxing things. And it's a very easy way to make it look like you're good. And obviously, we are at that high skill level, so that's what all pros do to warm up. So I thought we should just fall in line and do the same. The game itself can make quite a few interesting sounds here, as you might be able to hear. A lot of, like, each time you select a drone, they'll make something new. What we're gonna do now, as we're playing against this race called Protoss, they have an interesting way of trying to fuck with your mind, to put it blankly. Right out there, Protosses tend to just sit there in their base and make stuff, because their stuff is so strong. So what I will be doing is that I will just get this little building here, which is called a spawning pool, and we're gonna start by trying not to be that bad by trying to expand after a bit of time. Hopefully that will work well as well. But right now we can see all of our, like, nice little APM spam. Let's talk about Starcraft in general. So Starcraft right now is in a state where the game itself is sort of losing a lot of viewers or users. Starcraft were for quite some time one of the biggest games within what people would like to call esports, but have over time started fading more and more away. Simply because it's not that appealing to the common man, and all the plebs and whatnot. Sorry for the word, but it is kind of true. We should put it like that. What happens is that it is a pay game. You need to buy it, and when it was released, I think it was around 400 to 500 Norwegian, which is, I think, 30, 40 British pounds, I think. I think that's more likely, or euros, whatever. Anyway, it's kind of expensive, and for a game that you want to attract a large audience, that is not optimal. Right now, what made games like Dota and League of Legends so big is that they have a sort of automatic sharing function. You gain, like, bonuses for inviting your friends. You get nice little gifts. You get RP points in League of Legends, you get IP and whatnot, as well as you get the possibility to play with your friends. It's sort of an entire community driven, I want to play with my friends and so I will kind of mentality. Since this is a since it's free to play games, that is all cool, soft and good, the way everyone likes it, right? It's good. While Starcraft had this sort of, how should we say it? They have this, you must pay for the game, and then what should seem to be ranked is sort of die-hard competitive. This ranked that I'm playing here, as we can see now, it's all about, of course, your own skill level, but you sort of do not have anything to build up until that point. While if take a League of Legends for example, right? You have you'll play until you're level 30. When you find level 30, you can choose to go ranked if you want to. But by then you probably understood that, oh shit, I should probably not try to play ranked already because I'm not that good. A lot of people will have that mentality, and that is understandable, and they will play some more before they like throw themselves into the ranked game, if they at all do so. The previous Blizzard games, like Warcraft, Starcraft, Bird War, had plenty of extremely good custom games. I'm not saying that Starcraft 2 does not, but it's a lot less of them at least. A huge part of, for example, Warcraft 3 and Bird War were just based around the custom games, while StarCraft 2 is all based around competitiveness. Which, in a system where you sort of just get thrown into it, and yeah, of course you can play the unranked mode right now, but in the beginning there was no unranked mode, and you just had to play with your friends. And if you did not have any friends that played StarCraft, well, then you were kind of screwed, and you had to just start somewhere and start playing. And the campaign didn't give you much like useful hints and tips and tricks on how to be better at the game. No, not at all. So in that aspect, I think StarCraft is kind of lacking in many ways. But still, it is a decent game. Once you actually get into StarCraft, it's really good. It's so much to learn, and the learning curve is just kind of good. Once you actually there are a few steps along the way. Oh, what the heck? That was a lot of cannons. Them cannons means that Protoss will be turtling up. Anyway, so the StarCraft might be a very depressing game, simply because, for example, if I were a bit worse at this game than I am, like, I'm kind of bad. I'm very, very bad. Okay, let's just say that I'm very bad at the game, right? Say that I were a bronze player, not silver. And I played this game and I saw that amount of cannons, I'd be devastated. I would not understand what I'm supposed to do. I would be like, well, I can't attack that, or I would try to make a lot of units and try to break in, and I will slowly lose the game. But what I do understand now is that I'll just, I have vision on every possible expansion or area where he can take another base, and I could simply, I have control of those areas, so that means that I can just expand and expand while he spent a lot of money. And I understand, like, with all those cannons, of course, he can't afford making an army and expand at the same time now. So I'm in right now I feel safe. But as a new player, you would not feel safe in this kind of situation. You would be like, okay, well, what should I expect now? I do not know what's coming at me. So that is it's a very strange way to welcome new players, right? But simply because, yeah, you can't really, a new player will not really understand what to do, and since he or she does not know what to do, they will just do something weird, and that might go very, very bad. So anyway, my overseer went down. Kind of sad, kind of sad. I'm just gonna say now, I'm just gonna throw an Inspire. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, well, I'll just try to kill his air units and just repeatedly kill these air units, and after when I'm done with that, I will just go kill his base. That is my plan right now. I also know that look at the amount of bases that we have. I have 4, while he is still on 2 bases. What that means is that right now he will not have the opportunity to make as many air units as I do. So that means that I can just kill his air units and then continue to reproduce. So even if he wins or have a better trade, I can still just make more and more and more, and I can have negative trades. So that is just one way to really do this game. So let's just take a bit of thought into the three races, right? What are they really? For example, the race that I'm playing right now, the Zerg race, is very interesting simply because it is all based around making a lot of units. You know, you sort of think of those zombies, right? Zombie apocalypse, where there's just a horde of them, and that is pretty much what the Zerg swarm is. You're gonna have a lot of units, and you're just gonna throw them at the enemy, and you're gonna be playing into having bad trades. This is, of course, there are builds and whatnot to make it not so, but still, we'll just stick with that, right? That is the basic principle of this race, is that you're just gonna be having negative trades, and that's gonna be okay for you. Because, well, that's life. That is what you have to deal with when you are Zerg, because you're just gonna be making units and have fun with those units, right? That's cool. That's cute. So let's say, and then the next race is Protoss. That's the one I'm facing right now. Protosses are sort of these high-tech, super spacey aliens with very advanced weapons. So they have psionic abilities as well. This means that they will be able to execute sort of their what you would call ability-based race. They have this thing called force fields, which is a spell that can be used to help them reposition or block off areas. They have something called High Templars with Storm, which is sort of, yeah, as the name implies, it's just a stormy area that does a lot of damage and so forth. So they're very ability based, contra where Zerg has sort of the just have units and have many of them and just deal damage. So Zerg relies more on what you would call the macro. Macro is a term used for macro managing your infrastructure, sort of. The buildings that I have, so the bases, injecting like we just saw here, and so forth, all comes down in under macroing, whilst organizing your troops and just moving them around, flanking, maneuvering, whatever. All of that goes in under what we would call micromanaging. So you have micro and macro, or macro and micro, right? So of course, both is key and super important in both. For example, a Zerg swarm player want to go for that super double flanking. You want to get that flanks and surround an enemy, and hope that he does not get all of his force fields up in time, right? That way you will win your engagement. But they need to focus more on actually getting down the force fields, using storms, stutter stepping, and a lot of shenanigans like that. They just need to focus a lot more intensively on a battle, while they can just use their warp-in mechanism, for example, while the Zerg have to consistently make sure that he injects and make new units, of course. This is something that applies for everyone. They need to make more units during the fight as well and all of that, but micro is such a more heavy part of the Protoss style in the original design and the way that they were meant to be played. What we can see right now is that I have decided just to bring up a ton of air units. As we can see, I'm just gonna steamroll. I'm just gonna say, okay, well, even though you might have a lot of air units and whatnot, I'm just gonna get more units than you in general, and I'll just outmass you and I will win simply through that. That is my initial plan, at least. I do not know if that is a good idea, but it certainly is an idea, at least correctly. Yeah. So let's just hope that this goes really well, and we will see what happens then. Let's just quickly mention the last race, the Terran race. Terran is the humans, and they sort of have this Also macro focus, they have like this combination of both, I would say. And I kind of like that. I like that they have like the balancing. And whilst they focus a lot more on harassy styles, it's pretty much, they are very diverse, and they're sort of like, when you play Wings of Liberty, which is not the non-expansion, you will pretty much get to experience them at first. So right there I see a little unit, and I'll just try to retreat. I want to make sure that my grand strategic battle will be fought at the best possible place and time for me. You know, I learned this the hard way, but it is a pretty important rule, and I advise it for pretty much every player of any game or whatever you do, right? If you're gonna fight where you want, when you want. You do not want to fight where he wants to. This applies for every game. Say Starcraft. If I fight in an area where he has the upper hand, that's bad for me, and I want to only fight where I want to fight. And here I'm gonna be the one who decides. Right now I want some battling. I'm gonna use a few of my abilities, which is the corruption pretty much, and it makes sure that they will take more damage. And I'll just leave them at auto attack while I make more units. I did not decide to rally them into his base because I feel like I'll lose my units inside the base by the time. So that is that. Trying to keep up with the injecting once again. Kind of hard for for beginners. And of course I'm a far ahead in upgrades, so that is also why I do a lot more damage to him. So yeah, I were able to defeat his grand strategic. The siege is over, and I broke his defenses. So doing a tactical retreat, just like Napoleon did in his time, I'll just regroup all my forces and look for counter engage, or for another engage, I should probably say. Getting more upgrades, because upgrades is really important. Trying to just spend everything I have. I am maxed out again. As you can see here, in top right corner, what you can see, as I have not mentioned it, is minerals, gas, and supply. You can have a maximum of 200 supplies, as it pretty much states. And yeah, your focus is just to make a lot of units and try to kill enemy bases. You can probably guess. I even killed one of my own units there in frustration because he was disobedient. Kind of sad. But yeah, here I go, and I just slap around his little forces, and there we go. Nice, and it was a good game, and well played to my opponent. Thank you for the game, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hope you liked it.